Hello and welcome once again. We're back with the Grumble and Grouch show, episode 24. And we just got back from the theaters and we had just finished watching Thunderbolts.
Actually, before we get into the review, me and Grouch were already fighting on the way here. Because, seriously, this was the worst movie I have ever seen in my life.
No, I totally disagree. It's not the worst. I've seen worse than this. It was bad. I was kind of surprised from the fact I've heard other YouTubers and other people discussing it, and it seemed like it was pretty decent reviews. I thought it could be pretty fair, maybe like a 4 or 5. That was my initial impression. Yeah, this is probably one of the better movies we've seen. I don't mind the cast. I really like Bucky a lot from Captain America. Not crazy about Black Widow's little sister, but she's passable. She's okay. And I do like the Russian guy. I liked him in the past movies. But
damn, you love this movie, bro.
No, man. But the writing was just horrendous. Very, very poor writing. Weak ass villains. I was immensely disappointed. I really thought this was going to be a different movie for us. We're finally going to have something more positive to say about a movie for once.
But I think it was the worst movie we ever done.
No. Captain Marvel, I think was
you know what? I haven't seen Captain Marvel in so long.
It's kind of
I probably forgot.
Yeah.
And I think I'd rather watch that. There was no excitement. It was the worst movie I've ever seen.
No, to be honest, I think this is better than Captain America.
No.
Okay, so let's just get right into the plot. The movie starts off. They have Elena. I think that's her name. They show her kind of like, it's so funny too. It's so like cliche, these movies. Right away, they got to show Elena as some badass. And she's gotten some mission and she's got to kill like 20 guys, 20 Marines, single-handedly tossing them around as if we didn't see enough of that.
I know what the problem is, man. I think the problem is that after John Wick, action has just never been the same, bro.
Yeah.
I watched her knock out those 15 guys, and I was like, yeah, right, bro.
Yeah, dude. And again, I have a problem. It's never like she's even challenged. Like, you can't even get a finger on her. She's that freaking talented. Like, let one punch land. Accidentally, she kind of slips, and a guy, luckily, gets a jab in or something. No, unscathed. And no wonder why she's so confident. No one can lay a glove on her. So she just takes all these 15 guys out, no problem. And the last couple of guys, she just shoots John Wick style, headshots. And then she moves on.
Yeah, but eventually she captures somebody, and she's like talking him to death. It's just like
oh yeah, that was
just
pretty weak.
Just like any other girl would.
Just telling her life story. Yeah.
Oh my god.
There was
I saw the look on that guy's face.
Yeah.
He was just like, "Are you gonna kill me or what,
yeah.
bro? Shut up, shut up."
There was a lot of scenes where she's discussing problems of the heart and some of the emotional problems she's been having lately. I don't want to hear this broad's, life story and all the problems she has, and my boyfriend did this, and I'm so lonely. I don't care. I don't want to hear about that. I want to see action. I want to see some,
You want to see her watch? You want to watch her beat 20 Marine guys up?
Oh no, I don't just want to see that. I want to see a fair fight. If there are 20 little girls, maybe that could be more entertaining. That could be more level playing field. But when she's fighting 20 Marines and not breaking a sweat, I got issues.
Or a nail.
I got I'm questioning this movie already.
Yeah, it was
a lot of nonsense, which describes every Marvel movie since Endgame. Nonsense.
She's like, let me tell you about my daddy issues.
Yeah. So anyways, when I was 5, my daddy said this, and he hurt my itty bitty feelings. And then we're introduced to, once again, another weak-assed antagonist. Freaking Marvel and DC have a thing for itty bitty old women as the antagonist. And here we go once again down that freaking path. You can't have some maniacal, evil badass. Nope. Here we go again. Another a woman who's just going through menopause. That's your antagonist.
She's fiery.
Yeah, she's bitter because she's 65, ain't got no man.
Those hot flashes.
Yeah, those hot flashes kicking in. She's bad at the world. So she's got to kill everyone in it.
Hey, that does sound evil. That's a villain I don't want to see. Man. Maybe Marvel's onto something. Menopause ain't nothing to play around with. I've seen people turn evil for less.
So then we get the movie starts to really get going where the Black Widow has to go to this facility, and she's got to
So they sent pretty much like everybody like kind of like wants out of this lady's domain or power or club or something.
Dufontaine.
Yeah, so she's like, do one more mission. I need you to go to this place or whatever. But what they don't know is that they're there to like all kill each other.
Right, it was a setup.
Yeah,
it was a setup. So you got Captain America, the fake Captain America. You've got this broad who was in Ant-Man, and she can go through walls. And they also had Taskmaster, who was in the Black Widow movie. She gets shot in the head, so she doesn't last too long. And then they also have Black Widow. And then they meet this guy named Bob. And Bob is a horrible character. He's just such a meek little dork, and there's nothing interesting about him. He's just so meek and afraid of his own shadow, and he becomes one of the major characters in the movie. Mm-hmm. And they all meet up there, and it turns out they were tricked into going there. And Dufontaine, the broad, Elaine from Seinfeld.
What are you, rapping? Dufontaine, money, lane. I ain't got no money, man.
So
I live in the trash can.
Yeah, that rap was more entertaining than the entire movie, honestly.
Grouch, 2025, new album dropping soon this summer. I live in the trash can. Don't worry about me, man.
Yeah. Okay, so anyways, so the Taskmaster gets shot in the head. I thought she was going to be one of the team, but no, she gets shot in the head and she's done. And then they all kind of like all become buddy because because they're going to try to get killed by Dufontaine or Elaine from Seinfeld, and they realize it's a trap. So they all got to get out. They got to team up now. In order to get out, they got to buddy up.
I love how like I guess they figure out like it's an incinerator where they're at. They're trapped in an incinerator.
Was it incinerator? I thought it was just some kind of like
lab. No, because like fire comes from the ceiling.
Yeah.
And they have like a timer.
Oh, it's so funny because they're like, we've got to, Dufontaine's like, we've got to kill these characters. We've got to kill them. So, okay, so let's put a bomb in there and put like a 1 minute timer on that. And they actually have the clock kick in front of them. Come on. How ridiculous, how like cliched is that? I mean, you would think in 2025, Marvel will be stopped with the freaking cliched, oh my God, we only have 1 minute to survive. What do we do? Oh my God, so they come up with a plan. And then why not just set the thing to like 1 second? You know, why put a timer? So cliched garbage. And so, of course, what happens? 1 second to spare, they jump out of the room, and they're all good. They're fine.
Not a scratch on them.
No, not a scratch on them. And so they try to get out of there, and all of a sudden, Elaine shows up with a whole squad of mercenaries or whatever, soldiers. And they're all outside, and they're how do we get out of here now? And they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. And eventually, of course, they get out of there because of their powers and their kick-ass abilities
and bad writing.
Yeah, and bad writing.
And they get out of there.
And it's so funny too. Is at one point too, the guy Bob, who I couldn't freaking stand, who they all unload, like literally like 50 soldiers just unload on the guy, shoot at him for like a good 10 seconds. He's literally has like 100, 200 rounds in him, and he gets back up, and oh my God, what? And then he flies away. And like, what the fuck? So he flies, and he must go so high. He goes in the freaking atmosphere because then he comes crashing down, and he literally like a meteor, and there's this huge crater. And that already silly. He didn't go that high to the outer space. And let's just say, for argument's sake, he went to outer space. There is no way he's going to come down and land exactly almost where he took off from. It's dumb. It's the writing is just so infantile and stupid. So Elaine captures the guy, and she realizes this guy's like superpowers, super abilities, so she's going to try to mentor him, of course, to go on her side, the evil side. But my initial impression of this movie was none of these characters, to be honest, are really that likable. I didn't care for any of them. I couldn't really get behind any of these characters. I didn't care for the Black Widow character. The Captain America was a bit of a prick. They had the girl that could walk through walls or whatever her name was. I didn't like her. None of them. Bob was a freaking little wimpy character, useless guy for the most part. Yeah, so I didn't. That's one thing I initially noticed. Unlikable characters from the jump.
And they're not real superheroes, man. They don't even have like real superpowers. I mean, they couldn't even get out of an elevator shaft. They have to like.
Yeah.
They have to do like some crazy maneuver that's almost impossible to do.
Well, to be honest, I'm not familiar with this Captain America. I don't think he has any kind of like super soldier serum. I don't know. I really don't. Yeah, so Elena, I know she has no powers. So she's like a regular broad. And Captain America, I don't know. They have the girl, Ghost, who can walk through walls. I think that's like electrical. I don't think it's power inside of her. I think she uses like technology or something.
Like the suit?
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I don't think it's like a actual power. And yeah, so they're not really that special or anything. They're not that amazing. I think the only one with real powers is Bucky, but at this point he's not even part of the team yet. You know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's funny too. So what happens is they are managed to escape. They escape the facility. The three main characters now, Elena, Captain America, and the girl Ghost who can walk through walls. So they escape, and the Russian Captain America shows up, the Guardian. He shows up in a limo to save him. I mean, I'm not sure how the fuck. And he's able to spot him out in the middle of the desert. I see you guys over there. And come on, let's get in my limo. And Elena's so embarrassed that he's there. I don't know, that's kind of dumb. You're going to save your ass, but you're so embarrassed. You're just going to hide in the sand. So they all get in the limo, and they're taking off. And then up comes Bucky to save the day. Takes out the three Hummers that are chasing him, destroys them. And they think, oh, he's on our side. But nope. He shoots a little thing in the back of the limo, flips it over. And again, this is another problem I have with a lot of these movies, is Bucky flips the limo over. and now these are four supposedly superheroes. They're pretty tough characters. And the next scene, all four of them are tied up. How? I want to see the fight for him to grapple with all four of these people to get them tied up. None of them, I'm sure, got knocked out. They're freaking badass. I've seen them take worse crashes. I want to see the fight where Bucky has to subdue all four of these superheroes. Never happens. Why couldn't they show us that? All of a sudden, they're all tied up. Why?
I hate the fact that, like, first of all, it looked like a scene from Furiosa. But, like, that motorcycle is, like, far away. It's dusty.
Yeah, dude,
and, like, the people from the limousine are like, is that Bucky? Yeah. You know, like, how do you know,
First of all, yeah, the Red Guardian's looking through his rear view mirror. And Bucky's, like, freaking, like, maybe, like, 500-600 feet away. He goes, oh, Bucky! Thanks, Bucky! Bro, he's, like, 500 feet away. How the fuck do you know that's Bucky?
Like, 2 miles away. Right?
Dude, he was really far away. In the middle of the desert, all this dust and shit. And then he takes out the last Hummer, and they're like a half a mile away at this point, and he shoots his little gadget. That shit must have gone half a mile to connect to that bumper. They flips over, and again,
and even
why couldn't we see the fight?
Even before that, they're shooting at the limo, and like every bullet is hitting the shield. Pop, 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 pop. And then all of a sudden, like one of the superheroes,
Ghost gets on the back,
gets on the hood of the car, and all of a sudden,
she can't use her powers.
Nobody can hit it. One bullet.
All of a sudden, they decide to hold their fire.
Pop, 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 and it's hitting everywhere but the middle. And then they finally get her back in.
What a coincidence that they all had to reload the second she got in the back of that hood.
And then as soon as she gets back in, the guy puts up the shield, and sure enough, pop, pop, pop,
and they start firing again. Yeah, I know. It was just, it's just so contrived. That's the best word again for these movies. It's very contrived. We need this to end a certain way. We need certain things to happen, and it's just a coincidence. They had to reload or whatever. The sun was in their eyes those few seconds. Come on, it's just stupid. Yeah, that's why I hate some of these movies. Just so contrived. So Dufontaine has a conversation with her assistant, and again, such a corny ass dialogue where it's like, you know, we're the bad guys, and they're the good guys, and you need to figure out which side of the team you're on. Are you a bad guy like me? Bro, what is this, freaking writing for like 5-year-olds? Are you a good guy? Are you a bad guy like me? Join the bad guy squad. It's much more fun. It's so stupid. The writing is just so infantile and dumb. I mean, that's why I do not like a lot of these movies. It's not written for adults anymore. It's written for little kids. Are you a good guy? Are you a bad guy? Come on. It's very corny.
I think it's crazy that this is supposed to keep leading us to the Avengers. And it was just...
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it's so funny too. It's like as she's explaining this, they were trying to portray as such a little villainess. I expected almost if she had a mustache, she'd be fucking twirling it. You should join us, the evil side. It's so whack.
I thought
bro.
I did see a mustache on her.
And so then what happens is Bob all of a sudden really likes Dufontaine, and he feels that she is on his side. So she tries to like coach him and tell him how to use his powers. Like, how the fuck does she know how his powers work? I don't know. I don't really understand how he has these powers. That the Void is what it's called. So and then
He becomes Sentry or something.
yeah, no. So what happens now is they got him in a little fancy suit, a gold suit. Looked really horrible costume they gave him. Looked so corny. He's like in gold with a little cape and stuff, and the Thunderbolts show up to go subdue Bob, who's now called the Century. I don't know why. And the maniacal Dufontaine is there to try to, tell him what to do. And so he single-handedly destroys the Thunderbolts.
I mean, he's powerful, man.
Dude, he's no different than Superman. The only difference is he does not have X-ray vision and or lasers coming out of his freaking eyes. Mm-hmm. But just like Superman, you can't touch this guy. You can't even, injure him at the least. So of course he just wipes out the Thunderbolts, and of course he now turns on Dufontaine, and now I'm calling the shots here, lady. And she has a little gadget. If he gets out of control, she can push it, but she drops it, and her secretary manages to grab it and shocks the Sentry, as he's now known, and he gets knocked out. And again, they leave him up there without anyone to contain him. And of course, what happens? He wakes up. He's flying around the sky. And knowing this guy is like literally as strong as freaking Superman, she sends all these guys, these minions, to go shoot at him and try to kill him. All these guys basically get vaporized. So he's up there, and he's got new power now. And not only that, but when he shows back up again, when he wakes up, it's no longer a Bob. It's like this black encrusted guy. You can't even see his face. He's just like these glowing eyes. And everyone he is like turning into like almost like vaporizing them, turning into black dust. And I thought that was kind of weak. But at one point too, as a little girl, maybe like 5, gets vaporized, turns into dust. I was like, yeah, there's no way she's dead. There is no way a Marvel movie is gonna obliterate a little 5-year-old. So it ends up happening.
I heard Grumble go, no! The little girl was about to be crushed. No!
She had her whole life in front of her. How could you do that? Help! She's got to be stopped. Is what I thought.
I was like, shh.
This is so contrived and dumb. So what happens is now there is a fog now that's all of a sudden enveloping the city. And when you see people walk into it or it goes through them, they get vaporized. They get turned into dust. Somehow, Elena knows, you know what? If I walk into there, I will be able to have a chance to talk to Bob. So I'm going to wander into there, and in a couple minutes later, I'm going to say, Bob, what are you doing here? So she wanders into it, and she has to go through a couple things, which made no freaking sense. Here's another thing, too, about this movie is this guy, Bob, or now the Century, all throughout the movie, he's able to create these like visions of when whoever the character is,
trauma was or whatever.
When their trauma or a pivotal part of their lives, they'll see it. So like Elena will see when she was a little girl what she went through, and it keeps repeating. And so whoever the character is, like Captain America, saw stuff that was traumatic to him. Throughout the movie, you keep seeing that. Okay, with that in mind, somehow Elena was able to figure out, if I walk into this void, this blackness, I will be able to go into my memories, and through there, I'll be able to somehow be able to meet Bob, and I can talk to Bob and talk some sense into Bob. So
I guess that's her superpower, right?
Yeah, she figures shit out like no one else can. So she walks into the void, and now she's dreaming again about her as a little kid, and then she goes, "No, F this. I'm going to leave this space," and somehow she's able to break out of that dream or that stasis or whatever it was, and so she goes into like other people's memories or whatever, and eventually she sees freaking Bob. Of course, there's Bob. So she starts shooting the breeze with Bob and saying, "Oh, what are you doing? We got to
A
get
little
out.
girl almost died out there.
Yeah. That girl was like 5. So she starts talking to Bob, and of course Bob is like, well, I'm just a victim too.
Oh my
And
god.
yeah, and then they have a heart-to-heart. So they start bonding over this. And he said, well, I want to get out of here too. What can I do to help you? And so this is one of the, again, such
And you even said it, right?
stupid scenes.
You even said it like because you were like, I mean, what crazy thing are they gonna come up with? Because this guy's too powerful. There's no way like.
Well, it reminded me, just as the last review we had, Captain America. How the fuck is he going to take this guy out? He's a total mismatch. He is out of your league, so he has to talk him down. And same thing with this. We got to talk this guy down. The Sentry. Hopefully he's willing to listen, like the Hulk was. So she goes, but again, how the fuck do you know you go in the void, you walk into that thing, you're going to immediately have a chance to talk to Bob?
She made 2 lefts and a right.
Yeah. How the hell does she know? She walks in there and I'm going to have a conversation. Maybe you're just freaking dead. Maybe you're not in another dimension, not in another world. You're dead. How the hell does she know shit? But again, she has that woman's intuition, I guess. So she wanders in. And then, so keep this in mind too. So she goes through all these other people's dreams or visions or whatever, and she finally runs into Bob. And then the entire Thunderbolt team now is like, hey, we can't let Elena do this on her own. We got to walk into the void too. So they all walk.
So and they made 2 lefts and a right.
Like all of them know now Elena's in there talking about we got to help her. So they all walk into the void. And now, and here's the most ridiculous part. How the hell do they know too? I can walk out of my dream and I know exactly where Bob is and Elena. And they all meet there at the same time. So all the Thunderbolts meet Elena at the exact same time, knowing exactly where Bob is. How was like, give me a break, bro? This writing is just horrendous. It's childish nonsense. I hate it. How could you rationalize any of this? It's so stupid. So you're telling me all the Thunderbolts knew we all walk in the void. They knew we could walk in to this void, run into Elena.
Well,
say, hey, Elena,
2 lefts and a right.
What can we do to help? And then it's so funny that Bob and the Void are now separate, and the Void wants to fight all the Thunderbolts, and all the Thunderbolts get tied up, or he's telekinesis. He pushes all this stuff onto them, and they're trapped now. And then so the Bob all of a sudden wants to stand up for himself and starts wailing on the Void. But again, too, it's like, make up your mind. Is this Void all powerful? He can strap them down with all this metal and gear that's laying around the place they're at, but you can't stop this kid from pounding on your face. So the kid starts wailing on the Void guy, pounding, punching him. Eventually, all of the Thunderbolts get free, and they stop Bob from beating up this Void. And then eventually, they just end up back on Earth. But really, that's the key. Punch the Void in the face enough times, and then you'll be good. That's it, man.
It's like punching a shark in the nose, man.
Yeah, that's it, bro. But he must have punched like 80 times, bro. He punched him a lot. But again, it's just this writing is just so ludicrous and bad.
Hey, but the little girl came back.
Yeah, they all came back because you cannot have
And Grumble was like, yes!
You can't have a sad ending. You gotta have a happy ending where everyone walks out of the theater feeling great. Because I was so nervous about little girl. Where's her mommy?
Oh, and her mommy was right there waiting for her.
Right there. A week later, that bitch is still out there waiting. Where's my daughter? She said, where's my little girl?
She knew to wait right there.
She waited about little dust where she just passed away. She's like, where's my girl? So she's sitting out there waiting for like a week. And eventually a little Abby, or whatever her name is, she showed up. And I was very happy.
The end.
Garbage. Yeah, so it's so funny too, is like at one point too, Elena, during all this, Elena runs outside, or she's outside the building, and her and the Red Guardian are just shooting the breeze by this hotel, and they're just talking. And she's like, talks about how lonely she is. How life doesn't have meaning. And she needs somebody in her life. And then I was waiting for the Red Guardian to be like, hey, you ever heard of OnlyFans? Where most modern girls go to find
Happiness.
To find, if you're lonely, you get OnlyFans, and you're freaking set for life, man. There's so many guys out there waiting to chat with you. So he mentioned OnlyFans, and now she's set for life. She's not lonely at all anymore.
There's no more void.
Yeah. Oh, also too is at one point she's in the crazy void world where she's looking for Bob to go shoot the breeze and talk to him and talk him down, and she sees a dream of herself in the void, and for some reason, a previous version, I guess a memory of herself, starts fighting her. Why? Why would a previous version of yourself start fighting you? None of this shit makes sense. Make it make sense. I don't get it. It's just dumb. So, this is one of the dumbest scenes in the movie by far. Could go down as one of the dumbest scenes in Marvel movie history. So they got the Thunderbolts trying to figure out how to get out of here. How do we get out of the void? They're running around just looking for an exit, how do we get out of here? And at one point, they're like a downtown somewhere, and they're like in a corner of an intersection. And who do they see but a guy in a chicken suit?
Oh my!
A guy in a chicken suit
goodness.
holding one of those signs that they rotate around and shit. And this
He was a professional, too.
Yeah, and evidently this one's made of like a cast iron.
Adamantium.
Yeah, evidently this is like vibranium or adamantium, because he is hitting people in the head with this thing, taking them out. Single-handedly, this guy took out half the Thunderbolts, swinging this sign around. Like I said, it was cast iron. As far as I know, isn't that thing made of like foam core or something? It's not fucking made of metal. Oh my god, the shit they put in this freaking movie.
No, it was
a chicken. A guy dressed in a chicken.
Just like Family Guy.
Yeah.
A cartoon, that's okay,
I was
right?
waiting for Peter to show up and chasing the chicken.
He was the sixth member of the Thunderbolts. Might as well, bro. Yeah. Horrible.
Dude,
unwatchable.
How on God's green earth do you justify something like that in a movie? I mean, it's just... That's not a problem I have a lot of these Marvel movies, especially lately. What is wrong with staying on freaking planet Earth? They always have to go off to some Ant-Man quantum verse. Doctor Strange, he's got to go off into the multiverse and all these dimensions. Stay on freaking Earth. Can't you people keep grounded? I wish they would keep something a little more grounded, where they would stay on Earth and fight earthly battles. What do? They go off in this fantasy land where the void people live, and they got to fight all of these strange things and other not humans, because I think they're void people. And it's like, and there's a scene too where like all the stuff is flying around, like a poltergeist is in there. This is not like Earth. It's just so ridiculous. I don't know why they can't make stuff more grounded. Don't stop flying off in the multiverses. Stay on Earth, because they're no longer on Earth. I don't know where they were, the void world, I guess. But it's just dumb. I'm so sick of them having to fly off into some made-up universe. And so at the very end of the movie, they see Dufontaine, and they're like, we need to get some revenge. We got to straighten this girl out. And she's like at this, like a barrier with like tarp or something. And she goes, no, wait a minute. And she walks over, and there's like 800 reporters waiting for her to say something. And then they all walk through all the Thunderbolts. And she's like, I want to introduce you to the new Avengers. And they all like take a bow. Oh, thank you. And then, and then now they're the new Avengers. Even though a second ago they wanted to kill her. But now, okay, thanks, Dufontaine. And now they're all Avengers. They're new Avengers.
She's so evilish.
Yeah.
She set them up.
Yeah.
Come on through this curtain.
Yeah. But
I have the media waiting for you.
Such contrived.
That's how evil she is. You know?
Yeah.
That's how much. That's her power.
Such contrived nonsense, bro. I'm just so sick of these freaking movies. So ridiculous. So ungrounded. Such fantasy nonsense. Yeah, I not a fan. Not a fan of the turn these movies have taken since Endgame. And to be honest, I'm not even a huge fan of Endgame. That movie had its issues. I much preferred
Infinity Wars.
Infinity Wars, I think, was a lot better. Now, this, to me, is a major plot hole, and only will you hear this on the Grumble and Grouch show. The plot hole is this. The Century guy or the Void guy must have taken at this point hundreds of citizens of this city into the Void. And you're telling me the only people they ran into really was Elena and the other Thunderbolts. Where are these thousands, maybe just hundreds? Where are these hundreds of citizens that are in the Void with them? Where are they all? Shouldn't they have had to run past all of these hundreds of other citizens who've been taken in the Void? How they can just immediately find Elena like nothing? Oh, there's Elena over there. Oh, hey, Elena, how's it going?
2 lefts and a right.
2 lefts and a right. There she is. Hey, how the fuck do they know exactly where she... All Thunder will show at the same time. And there should be like thousands of citizens in there, thousands of people that live in that town or city. Where are they? Not to be found. Nope. Nobody. You don't run through anyone else's dream for the most part. There'd be thousands of dreams in there with all the citizens from that city. Nope. Not to be found. Immediately they find Elena. There she is. It's just such contrived nonsense, and I just can't take it. That's why I hate these movies. So bad, so ridiculous. I'm checking out.
By the way, stay tuned for our next superhero movie
Fantastic
review.
Four or Superman. Whichever comes first.
We'll be there.
We know where our bread is buttered. I'd love to do horror or something, but what horror movies are out there? I don't know.
What is Sinners?
We can do Sinners, maybe. I heard that was pretty good, but...
I'm tired of hearing other people tell me
I so
how good something is.
Yeah, bro. There's a lot of shills. There's a lot of shills out there, you know.
I think my aunt used to tell me broccoli was good too.
Yeah. For me, it was asparagus.
Until I tried it.
I was lied to.
I threw that shit up.
I was betrayed by Grandma. I was like, Grandma, how could you betray me? I trusted you. Asparagus is not great. No matter how much butter you put on there. No, you know what? No, there could be other movies that are not. Ballerina. John Wick 5. That could be a potential banger. But anyway, so let's get to the final reviews. Oh, real quick. The post-credit, we only saw one because we've had enough after this. This post-credit was garbage. And they have the Red Guardian trying to pick up some little Asian lady. That's
because he's on the Wheaties box.
Yeah, he's in the Wheaties box. But don't shave your beard, bro. How do you expect to recognize? He just has a mustache now. Of course, he doesn't recognize him. I wasn't even sure who that was at first.
I thought he worked there.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So let's just get to the final reviews of this movie. I'll have you go first, Grouch. What say you?
I won't take any time. Unwatchable. I'd rather watch Captain Marvel. Put that on right now. I'd rather watch that.
Wow, bro.
I was truly bored. There was no, I felt like there was no action. There was, like you said, the characters and all that.
I think
the writing was bad.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest
not once was I like, wow. Not once.
I think the problem with a lot of these movies lately is just the writing. It's just very poor writing. It's just, it's not grounded in any kind of reality. If you go back and watch like the first Thor, which everyone seemed to bash, I thought it was great. You go back to the first Iron Man, they're all grounded. You feel like you're actually seeing something that's in the realm of some kind of possibility. But even like this, it's just so far removed from I view as anything remotely possible. And the dialogue is just... Here's another problem I have with a lot of these Marvel movies is they'll have like a normal conversation when their lives are any minute could be snuffed. And they're like joking around and having conversations and yucking it up. I'm like, bro, there's like 100 guys out there with freaking machine guns ready to kill you. And you're out there, telling about your what happened when you were 5. I don't see it happening in real life. I don't get it. That's not normal human behavior. So I'm immediately pulled out of a movie if I don't see anything that makes sense to me. It's not in the realm of possibility. There's no way you're going to sit there and start shooting the breeze. No. So until they get back to a kind of a grounded movie with establishing something that's unusual or spectacular, and the rest of it grounded in reality, what would you do if you had these powers? No, we're just so far beyond that. Such nonsense. I can't get on board anymore. And I really hope we get back to the basics of superhero with regular human reactions, regular human conversations or dialogue. Until then, I'm checking out.
Until Superman or Fantastic Four coming soon.
I am going to give this movie not unwatchable. I'm giving it 2.
A 2?
A 2 out of 10.
Too high, man. 2 is too high.
Too high.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Too boring. Too everything. Too whack. Okay.
I don't think it's as bad as all that. At least not unwatchable. It's pretty freaking awful, but not that low. You know?
On that note, it's the Grumble and Grouchy Show.